All right, you guys, we're going to go over today some budgeting questions that I get all the time when it comes to percentages of your budget and your budget categories. But the thing is that I don't really look at my budget that way. That's why I'm not a big fan of the one-size-fits-all budget when it comes to percentage guidelines, because the budget is about your life and one size doesn't fit all. So how much should you spend on this or that can really depend on your income, your household, your location, like where you live, your goals, your lifestyle. I mean, so many things. But there are a few areas where using percentages are a good idea. So we're going to dig into that today. But first, I want to tell you about a game that my family and I have been loving, and that is Tapple. Okay, Tapple is a really fun game, you guys. You can play with your friends, with your family. And can I just say, if you have kids and they know the first letter of the word, they can play. That's part of the game. But also just know that, instead of buying a bunch of just toys and stuff that's going to be probably thrown away, if you buy a game, you create so many memories, so much laughter. Everyone puts their phones away and screens are off, and you actually engage with your friends and family. And I think that is one of the most important things, along with a game that's actually really fun, which is Tapple. So make sure to check it out at Walmart. Okay, most people's budget include these categories: giving, saving, food, utilities, housing, transportation, health, insurance, childcare, lifestyle or entertainment, personal spending, miscellaneous, and debt. But even with all of these categories, there are really three that I recommend specific percentages for. So giving is one of those, and I always recommend giving 10% of your income regardless of where you are. Now, a lot of people push back on me when it comes to giving, but I think giving is such an important part of your financial picture overall because it affects you. And you will realize with money that so much of you is translated into how you spend money. So when you are a generous person and that becomes a habit, that plays out in all different areas of your life. And for me, as a Christian, as a follower of Jesus, I do lean on that 10% tithe as just kind of a baseline. So again, whether you're someone that, believes in something spiritual or not, I would recommend and challenge yourself to be giving. So 10% for me is it, but I do like to say, give a little until you can give a lot. All right, the next category is saving. So the average American saves around 9% of their income. But this is a great example of how a percentage or even an average shouldn't set the standard for you, because your savings will vary depending on your goals. So whether you're saving up for an emergency fund of $1,000 or your fully funded emergency fund of 3 to 6 months of expenses, you could be putting more towards savings or even less if those things are covered. But the standard that I follow is that when you have no debts and you have a fully funded emergency fund, then I do want you to invest 15% of your income into retirement. So again, after all of your debt is paid, you have 3 to 6 months of expenses saved in the bank. I want you to start looking at retirement. So this is things like your 401k or 403b, your Roth IRA, these kind of things. And setting that 15% for you is a great average. It's a great percentage to shoot for the long run. As we've averaged everything out, 15%, again, pretty much regardless of where you are financially, is going to help you build a great retirement. All right, the last budget category that I have a percentage on is housing. So housing should be no more than 25% of your take-home pay. And that's going to include your rent or mortgage payment, taxes, home insurance, HOA fees, and private mortgage insurance, PMI. So I know that this is more of a conservative percentage, but here's the deal. We don't want your housing eating up so much of your paycheck, because I want your paycheck to be going to other things like paying off debt or investing or saving for your kids' college or living or spending or giving, all of this. So you really do want to be pretty tight on this, because spending more than that, again, it takes away and eats up so much of your paycheck. So I know the real estate market is up and down. It's just crazy. And where we are right this minute, things are just really expensive. We may see a correction. We may not. I don't know what that means, but I would adjust your expectations and be wise about this, because you don't want half of your paycheck going to living, because then your house or your living situation ends up being such a burden and such a curse to you, because you don't have as much money there with margin in your paycheck to do other things that you need to do with your money. Now, as far as all the other categories in your budget, that is going to depend really on you and your family's needs. So you really want to align and say, okay, where are we financially? and where do we want to put the rest of our money, because it's really important to be living below your means. And this is what's key. You want to make sure that you're not spending more than what you're making. And a lot of people fall into that trap, which is what's caused the highest level of credit card debt in America that we've known in history is happening right now. And so it's really easy for our lifestyle to get out of hand, even for basic stuff. And what's hard about that, again, is we are in trying times. Like with inflation, there's just so much going on. So you really want to make sure that you buckle down, you cut things that need to be cut, because you want to stay below what you're making so that you have some margin to do things like saving and paying off debt. So remember, if things are tight right now, there will be a time for you to have fun and to spend some more freely, but you just got to be patient. You really want that strong financial foundation under you of being debt-free with a fully funded emergency fund. Because here's the deal too, if you constantly are just having fun with your money and you end up with a negative net worth, that negative cycle is going to catch up with you and you never will truly be free. Now, if you do want some help when it comes to budgeting on the tactical side, make sure to check out EveryDollar. It is my favorite budgeting app. It's one that I check literally every day and track transactions and making sure that I'm on top of my money. This is like one place where you can control something in your life, because everything else can seem really out of control. But when your paycheck hits, what you do with it, you guys, is so important. So having something like EveryDollar that's on your phone, it's an app that we carry around with us everywhere. Anyways, we're constantly on our phones. So use that habit for something good, to be looking at your budget and staying on top of your money. So make sure to check out EveryDollar. All right, you guys, I hope that this video helped and really talking through this subject, because I think it's a really important one. And make sure to share it with a friend who you think would enjoy it. And remember to take control of your money and create a life you love.